But today we're doing Plum Chipotle BBQ sauce. Plum Chipotle.
Love Chipotle.
You know what I'm talking about. Plum pepper adobo sauce, barbecue sauce. Plum Chipotle peppers. I keep tongue twisting. Plum Chipotle barbecue sauce. Now we do stuff like this because one, it's simple. Two, you can start modifying barbecue sauces you make yourself to your own liking. More acidic, you can add more vinegar, sweeter, honey, brown sugar, fruit, all those kind of things. We are fortunate enough to be able to pick fresh food from our garden, so we look for ways to use it up. So we have these yellow fleshed plums, and any plums are fine. So let's go. We have a cup. Now the recipe, you can do a cup. We've chopped these plums. You don't have to peel them, just take the pits out. Also, you can do this same recipe with other fruits. So from this point on, after the plums are added, add any fruit and then follow the same recipe. Blackberries, blueberries, raspberries maybe. Never done it with strawberries, but we're doing plums. Plums have kind of a rich, they're not as sweet as some other fruit, but a very rich flavor. So I typically weigh the fruit though, because a lot of times if you say a cup of chopped fruit, you're going to have quite a bit of variance when you are making your barbecue sauce. So this is actually 8 ounces of chopped plums. Then we do a 1/3 cup of ketchup. If you want to get creative by adding your own spices, you would not do ketchup, you would do a 1/3 cup of tomato sauce. And then you'd be working, adjusting your spices of your garlic, salts, peppers, oreganos, other earth flavors. We're making kind of quick and easy, so we use ketchup, a 1/3 cup of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, 1 teaspoon of Worcester. Listen, I can't say Chipotle. I'm not going to try to say this one. Teaspoon of that. And then we've already pre-mixed some spices. We have 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic, 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. If you don't like that heat, you can omit the red pepper flakes. You could also use cayenne instead. So different ways that you can actually modify this based on your own liking. If you don't like brown sugar, honey will work. You would use about a 1/3 cup of honey then. So whatever sweetener you use, 1-to-1 with the tomato base you use, whether that's tomato sauce or ketchup. So we're gonna pulse this up really good. Actually, we're gonna let it rip for a bit, and then we will be letting it thicken in the pan. And it's gonna be very liquidy at this point, not to worry, because it will simmer for a bit in the pan to thicken up. So into the pan we'll go, and it will also deepen in color as it reduces down. The flavors and the colors, everything kind of concentrates. So at this point, depending on the plums you have, if you get a dark, more purple plum, or if you use blueberries, blackberries, it's going to start out darker. These yellow flesh plums will start out a little bit lighter in color. So we go to a medium-high heat. And then we're going to let that simmer for, 6-7 minutes. If you're doing this out on your grill, you can actually take it off the heat and let it simmer as you are cooking or basting your grill meat. But if you're making this ahead of time, it's going to be partly it's for how long you want it to thicken, what kind of consistency you want. But we look at about 5 to 10 minutes, and then when it hits that level of consistency you like, you'll pull it off. So we will do a stop here. We'll come back as we get close to wrapping it up. We are at the 8-minute mark, and as you can see, as you take it through, the sauce isn't running back together. So it has some structure now. We don't have the liquid consistency that we had. It's getting, I would say, thicker than probably ketchup at this point. Now you could let it continue to simmer, to thicken up and to meld a little longer. You certainly don't have to. This sauce you can make up as you're cooking on the grill. This is something that you would be able to, be basting your chicken, your pork chops, whatever. I think a lot of times when you make your own barbecue sauce or any sauce really, oftentimes if you can make it ahead of time, it gets better. Wow, no idea what that was. It gets better with age. So this is going to make about a pint.
What's that? This, my friend, is a pint. It comes in pints. Oh. I'm getting one.
A little less than a pint. This was a batch we made earlier and we actually used some. So, in that pint range, we throw it in a mason jar cover. It's good for 3 to 4 weeks. The other thing, as you are making your own along the way, it's a good idea to taste it. Well, that's just, sometimes you're just perfect the first time. But hey, we're professionals here. That's not always going to be the case. You want to taste it along the way because if you're adding fruit, you're always going to have some inconsistencies in sugar level of the fruit, texture of the fruit, water content of the fruit. All that stuff is very variable. So you want to be tasting your sauce along the way, adding a pinch of salt, pepper, heat, whatever the case may be, sweetener, acid, just depending on what your tastes are. So there we have it. That is the Plum Chipotle barbecue sauce. You won't regret making your own barbecue sauce. Once you start doing it, you're likely to stop buying it at that point. That good and tailored for your particular taste buds. Thanks for hanging out. We have more videos coming up very soon. Thanks and God bless. Rolling. This is what we call an epilogue. When something doesn't go exactly right, we do an epilogue. In the video, I had missed adding the chipotle peppers. So we actually got them in, cooked it down a little bit longer. And actually when I tasted it, I thought it tasted a little sweet, but it's still, you actually don't need the chipotle to taste that good. But the chipotle adds a richness, a heat, and we had simply forgotten it as we were blending up the sauce. So what we typically do is we take 2 chipotle peppers in with the other ingredients in the food processor. Everything else is the same. Hey, it happens. That's the way it is. That's all we have now. There's no more epilogue. That's it.